Hello! Today's subject, we are talking about how to place stones, crystals inside your home. If you're wondering how do I dispose them, how they can be most useful, how do I make sure they keep their properties, that's what we're talking about today. So my name, Marie DiTullio, I'm the founder of Crystal Energy, where we teach you how to feel better in your body using energy, using crystals, using stones, using all kinds of different modalities. The goal is always for you to feel better in your body, better physically, better emotionally, better mentally, and better on the spiritual plane as well. So today's topic is a question that I received, an amazing question. How do I take care of my crystals? What do I do? How do I place them inside my home? Yes, so let's start. Because there's so many stones we can talk about when we talk about this subject. The first thing that comes to mind for me is if you have any rose quartz. Rose quartz, I really like to have it, maybe if you have an entrance in your apartment, in your home, the first thing that people can see, if they can see rose quartz, it's always good. There's something to rose quartz that just makes your heart, your home so much more welcoming. And in fact, what I usually do when clients come to my home, usually I will give them a rose quartz so they can hold the minute they come in. So it really makes the connection better between the two people. And if you're like one of my amazing friends, Manon is so nice that she decided this year that she was just going to give a rose quartz to every special person in her life. And I find that such a beautiful gift of love. And especially you're telling them how much welcoming they are in your life. So it's just a beautiful idea to have rose quartz at the beginning of your home. You open the door and that's what you see. It's just like, whew. If you have a store, same thing. Just put rose quartz. People will feel more at home. They will feel welcomed. So that's a good thing to do. Second idea, amethyst. You can have a big, beautiful amethyst. If you have an amethyst like this one, to me, it's really good because first of all, you're seeing all the points going in all kinds of directions. So it's really, really good for cleansing. So it will do amazing job cleansing a room. So if you have any type of Jews or the bigger ones, that's beautiful. You can always put that. You could put that where you feel it needs cleansing in the room and all of that. But you could also put it in that room where you don't really often go. So sometimes in the basement, there's a room where it's rather mostly clutter. You want to have the amethyst there because amethyst will do a cleansing. The energy will be different in that room. It will feel different and it will change the energy of your entire home. So having amethyst like this, amazing to have in any kind of room. If we're talking more about you bought all these small little crystals and you want to know what do I do with them? If they're all of the same, like I have here, all of my tourmaline, they're all tourmalines, all black tourmalines, they're all on top of each other. I can do that. I have these that are, as you're going to see, they're amethyst, they're all the same because they're all the same stone. If you have, like this one is the best example. Let me see if I can show it to you. Let me move the camera. I think that's going to be the easiest way. Hold on for a sec. It's going to be a challenge here. Okay, so these, you see they're fairy stones. They're all on top of each other. Totally fine. They can be all on top of each other. But if you have all kinds of different stones, like these, you see that I have amethyst, I have a few lapis lazuli, I have a rose quartz. They're fine there, but they're all beside each other. They're not on top of each other. So to me, that's really important. If you have many different stones, let me here. Okay, I found you. Hopefully you can see me. So if all of all of your stones are in that one place all together, just make sure they're not on top of each other. They can be all beside each other, because when they're kind of on top of each other, it's like mingling all of the energies, and it's kind of odd. Salut Nancy, contente que tu sois là. So the best way, definitely put them side by side if you want to maximize your stones or the benefits it will give you. But on the other side, if you have a salt lamp like this one, you have a salt lamp like this, you can have it in any room. It's just absolutely amazing. What the salt lamp does is really more about it. It's about distributing negative ions, which will clean the environment. So it's not so much for you, but your environment will be so much better that you will feel better for sure. So salt lamps are amazing. They're just not to heal you particularly, at least not according to what I think, but they're amazing for they do the ambiance, and they just make you feel better. So they're wonderful to have. Selenite. Selenite, I am sure you've seen the big salt lamp. Selenite, you often see them as bigger ones too. And when you see selenite, you often see it as a lamp. I do not recommend you buy it as a lamp. Like this one is for candle holder, that's wonderful. But as a lamp, what we tested in labs is that it's whatever comes out of it is kind of toxic. So you don't want to be using selenite lamp with the light on. So if you have a light in it, just don't turn the light on. It's going to be doing the job amazingly. It's really good for the environment. And actually, because the way the selenite is, I also recommend that you don't use it in the bedroom. There's an energy that's just not the most optimal for you to sleep, but it could be in the room where you work all day, it could be anywhere else, but not really where you sleep. Because I had so many questions and I see people buying them and they just don't know what's the best way to use those selenite lamps. Could be anywhere, not in your bedroom ideally. And if there's a lamp in it, don't turn on the lamp. There's something toxic coming out of it. How to dispose of your stones inside your house, to me, is also about noticing, because I tend to put stones by my window sometimes at night because I want them to be exposed to the moon, but I make sure to remove them during the day. So if your stones, you want to make sure they're not exposed to the light. There's only amber, which is not really a stone, that really loves the sun. Other than that, I really don't recommend putting them in the sun. So one thing that I find is interesting, let me show you how this, so you can see how this is labradorite and it shines beautifully, trying to make you really see how it shines. Labradorite is really a stone, because it shines, it's really protective. So it's amazing to have inside your home. Ideally, if you can put it, if you do crystal healing, you want for sure, you want it in your room. But ideally, you want it facing the door. So if there's a window in front of the door, chances are you'd want to put it in the window, but you want to make sure it's not exposed to the sun. So if there's a sun there during the day, don't put it there. Then I rather you put it on the floor, or find some other way, some other place to put it. But ideally, you put it in the window, so it's protecting. It could be in any room, anyways. In your bedroom, it's fine. It's a good protector, so you can have it in every room. That would be good for you. What else? Oh, shungite is a stone I often talk about. I don't really use it so much for the body, but I love using it for a room. So it could be placed on the four corners of the room as protection. There's something about them that they're good with the environment, dealing with the environment in a room. So you could use the four corners, especially if, let's say your apartment is in the basement, or if your store is in the basement, you do want to have shungites on there. It will be attracting people and just cleansing the area in a different way. So shungites are really, really good, but I don't use it on the body. I use it around as a protective shield, kind of. Another stone that would be really good, you could do that with tourmaline as well, but tourmaline you would use on the body as well, so I wouldn't waste it putting it in the corners. I would really use it for the body. if you've heard of pyrolusite, and I forgot to bring it, and it's in the corners of the room right now, so I cannot use it, but if you find pyrolusite in the online, if you see an image, pyrolusite, really, really good for when you see the stone, it kind of has holes in it. So it's really good to absorb things. So again, that's a really good stone to have in your corners if you're wondering what to put there. Otherwise, I find it's just absolutely a good choice to want to just put your stone in a way that they're given more value. And my friend Manon is just the best at that. She just puts her stone in like, it's a show. And when you see that show, it's so beautiful. So every time you pass by one of her stone, you're just giving it love because it's so beautiful. Well, the more you pass by and you look at your stone and you care for your stone, the more you look at them, the more they give you back. So for sure, if you're finding ways to put your stone right there where you're going to see them, where you're going to connect somehow, just if it's just looking, that's more than enough. If it's just admiring them, there's something to it. The more you connect with your stones, the more they work with you. So if you can find ways, creative ways, your way to make it look beautiful, it's even better. Of course, you could make a beautiful sand arrangement and just put the stones in there. If you do that, make sure it's natural sand or really safe sand, because right now we're often finding at the dollar stores they have sand there, but the sand is kind of toxic. It's not the best one. And there's Sandtastic, the company Sandtastic, that they have sand, it's natural, you can eat it, you can do all kinds of things, it's all kind of beautiful colors. So I really recommend, if you're looking for sand to make a beautiful arrangement, they're the best ones. If you're in Quebec, Omer de Serre has it, Michael's store probably has it. So that's a good something to make a beautiful arrangement. Remember, no salt, no sun, no salt for your stones. So just make sure if you're making a beautiful arrangement, you are not putting salt in there. Very important. Is there anything else I wanted to tell you? I think that's about it. So really, to me, I make sure that if I put all of my stones together, they're all beside each other and they're not on top of each other. Just like I showed you, all of my amethysts could be on top of each other, but if I have other stones, they're beside it. So they each have their space to breathe. That's how I see it. So I try, and even if I used to have trays of all my stones, and trays I usually would put the stones, they're one beside each other, but they're all the same colors together. There's kind of an energy that's different with each color, just like the chakras. So you kind of can do that. You just put all of the orange stones together, all of your pink stones together, all of your amethyst, purple, violet stones together. So that's something you could do as well. So if you have any other questions, don't hesitate and ask me. So I guess why the balloons today? Well, I decided we were celebrating just because it's so much more fun when we have balloons. So today we have balloons and we're celebrating you for being here with me, and I want to thank you for being here. It's such a pleasure to be with you and connect and talk about my favorite things in the world, crystals. So Tina, you were told to put your stones in sand in order to purify. Well, sand will not purify them. Sand is amazing, but amethyst can purify. The full moon 2 days before will purify, but definitely sand will not purify. But make sure it's, again, the good sand. And salt, yes. And yes, you were saying salt, yeah. So many people are talking about salt. And the thing is, if you don't know what you're doing, chances are I always say no salt. It's the easiest way, because chances are, it's like us. If I go in the ocean for an afternoon, it's just amazing. If I go every day for an afternoon, it's amazing. But if I tried to live in the salt, that wouldn't work. Well, it's the same thing for your stones. They could go in for a little time, but there's so much safer way to cleanse them that I wouldn't bother using salt. Salt is really, you could use the salt for you. But remember, if you use that salt with your stones, make sure that you're throwing away the salt. You're not using it for you in the bath, because that salt is really taking everything from the stone. That's what it does. It's taking the bad stuff. So you don't want to go in a salt bath with that salt, right? So you need to have your own salt bath, a different one, if you're going to take a bath. So I'm so glad you asked that question, Tina. Thank you. Is there any other question while I'm on it and while we're celebrating today? And if not, well, I remember, it's just, the more love you give your stones, the more in energy work they will give back to you. So I just recommend that you take good care of them. And maybe usually, I always end the same way. I always say, you only have one body, you only have one life, no replacement part for that body. So the best way is really for you to take care of your body. But what are you going to do differently this week to take care of your body? Are you going to drink more water? Or will you eat better? Or will you use crystals? Or will you do any type of energy modality? Will you exercise? It doesn't matter. But this week, on top of taking care of your health, find one way to take care of one stone. Whether it's just rinsing it underwater, giving it love that way, just that's something, but take care of your stones, because you'll see they work so much better when you take care of them. So on that note, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week.